everyone, and welcome to day one of my 30-day tidying challenge. This is a challenge that I created 2 years ago where I went through the entire KonMari process on my condo as a 30-day challenge. It was really intense, really hard work, but the benefits were amazing. I'm reposting the videos over the next 30 days with a bunch of updates. One thing I want to mention that I actually just thought of recently was that I'm going to try to wear the same top that I wore 2 years ago when I originally filmed this series. That's if I have the top. So for day 0, I actually decluttered the shirt that I was wearing 2 years ago, but for day 1, I do still have the shirt. So this is something that I'll be trying to do in each intro to the video. You may see the same top, you may see a different top depending on whether or not I still have the item. I'm also going to link the calendar that I'll be following in the description box down below. That way you can follow along, or you can use the categories in the calendar to come up with your own challenge or your own tidying plan. One thing I want to mention when you watch these videos is that I'm really looking at this as a self-development exercise, and I don't really focus in too much on the stuff that I'm decluttering. I did let go of a lot, but I really wanted to focus in on mindset and the life-changing aspect of this journey, as well as what I was keeping, because oftentimes we focus on what we're letting go of, when really we should be shifting our focus to what we're keeping and what sparks joy. With that preamble out of the way, let's time warp back 2 years to day 1 of the 30-day tidying challenge. Today we are going to be starting with one of my favorite categories, clothing. The clothing category is huge though and encompasses shoes, handbags, accessories, etc. Today I'm going to be focusing on the following subsets: tops, bottoms, dresses, skirts, suits, jackets, and coats. I think today is going to be a fun day but a challenging one. I still have a lot in the categories I've allotted for day 1 despite having gone through decluttering many times. I'm gonna try to fit everything on the couch behind me. Let's just go ahead and lay it all out. I think I have taken every stitch of clothing out from all of the closets. My husband and I also went down to our locker last night and pulled out a few clothing items that I still had stored there. Not too much, just a few t-shirts, also a couple of cheongsam or my Chinese wedding dresses. Everything should be in this pile. If you can imagine, I used to have maybe 3 or 4 times the amount of clothing that's here right now. I'm not going to set any expectations in terms of decluttering goals. This isn't about decluttering or minimalism, but keeping what truly matters to me. I think in the past, when I would go through this process, I would still choose what I could let go of. And this time, I'm going to try really hard to pick things I want to keep. That's a pretty big paradigm shift in mindset, but I'm gonna try to hone that today. With every single category and with every single item that you're going to be touching in the KonMari method, the essential question to ask yourself is, does this spark joy? Do you get that little shiver of excitement when you touch the item? Remember, this isn't about minimalism or even decluttering. This is about keeping in your life what truly matters. When I first did the KonMari method, I had a hard time with this. I wasn't attuned to what items sparked joy. I had a lot of items that were still functional that I wore all the time that didn't necessarily spark joy. But what I've come to learn in the past 3 years since first discovering the life-changing magic of tidying up is that I've grown a fondness and appreciation for things that are simply functional. Whereas I didn't love it before because it wasn't bright, it wasn't shiny, perhaps it wasn't new. Things that have served me well over the years that I gravitate to over and over again hold a special place in my heart. And these things have come to spark joy because I've had more appreciation for them each time I use them. For example, maybe a comfy, cozy sweatshirt that you wear all the time doesn't necessarily spark joy the first time you go through this method. But from today onward, start to notice how you feel each time you pick up that sweatshirt from a pile of clothing that you could otherwise choose to wear instead of the sweatshirt. Why do you gravitate towards it? How does it make you feel when you put that sweatshirt on? I have a sweatshirt like this. It's a dark gray sweatshirt from Forever 21, super cheap, pretty ratty by now. But I love it because it's warm, it's cozy, it feels amazing against my skin, very soft. I also love the color, and it's just one of my go-to pieces that I wouldn't have said sparked joy before, but now I can truly say it does. Even though it's not a pretty spring dress or any of the things that I would have defined before as sparking joy. If you're having trouble with does this spark joy, the other question you can ask yourself is, do I want to bring this with me into the future? This is one thing that I learned from the Netflix series of Tidying Up that I found was really helpful. That's what I'm going to think to myself if I come across a piece that I'm iffy about. I know it doesn't quite spark joy, but for some reason I just can't let it go. This entire tidying journey is essentially a self-development exercise. And I want to keep in mind that ideal life that I pictured for myself that we talked about a couple of days ago on day 0. So is this item I'm holding in line with what I want for my future self? There are so many great tips in the book. I'm going to link it down below in case you don't have a copy. I highly recommend both The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and if you want to go deeper into the method, Spark Joy is also a great resource. I have both books and I've flipped through them numerous times over the years. The last tip I want to share though is to try to do your tidying with no distractions. I'm one to love listening to podcasts when I'm doing something that doesn't really require my full attention, like washing the dishes or cooking. I'm not thinking of this tidying challenge as housework. I'm thinking about this tidying challenge as a way to get in tune with what I truly want for my life going forward and how I truly feel about the items in my possession. Don't want to distract myself from feeling all of those feels. Instead, I'm going to be doing this tidying in complete silence. If you do need some sort of sound, maybe go with some ambient music, nothing that has words or anything that will really distract you. I'm going to tell you right now, it is uncomfortable to do this in complete silence, but you will get so much more attuned to your body, how you feel about certain things if you don't have any distractions. It didn't take me too long to go through everything. I went through everything in about 40 minutes and I was pretty good at making quick decisions. I do have quite a decent pile of things that I am letting go of. A few things have made it into my loves in the past, but I think I am ready to say goodbye to these items. I just have so many things left in my collection that spark joy that I can wear. As we watch the end of this time lapse on day 1 of the 30-day tidying challenge, I do have a little update for you in terms of storage method. I didn't include it in the original video because I hadn't landed on the storage method yet. I was mainly storing things in piles, and I thought with our open shelves it would be really challenging to store things vertically. So at this point in time, 2 years ago, I really had no idea how I was going to organize things going forward. But during the course of the 30-day tidying challenge, I figured it out. I found a way to store things vertically in our open concept closet, and I'm going to insert a couple of clips to show you how I did this. Basically, on the upper shelves, I stored things vertically by putting each clothing item like books in a library, and because our shelves are not too wide, everything held in place pretty well. And then for my open pull-out shelves, I ended up storing things vertically by using storage containers. I've had these containers for ages and ages. They've held a multitude of different things, including nail polish at one point, but I repurposed them for clothing and it has worked out so well. This storage method has been in place for 2 years now since I originally did the tidying challenge, and it's just awesome. Hubby still won't let me touch his side, so his side is often quite messy compared to mine, but my side has stayed relatively tidy. It's really easy to find things and it's really easy to clean as well. That is going to be it for day 1 of the 30-day tidying challenge. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I will be back tomorrow for day 2. Until then, please take care and bye for now.